I believe this was my first ever actual ghost experience. I was about 6 at the time. I had no school, so I was in the living room of the apartment me and my mother lived in. We were playing on her Xbox. I would look over to my right, and for a few seconds, I would see a kid. The kid was wearing a hockey shirt and had a beanie on. He was entirely see-through. He seemed to appear from behind the couch that I was on and reached out for something I couldn't really see at the time before vanishing. Now, for some reason, I didn't react at all to seeing a literal ghost just appear beside me and then vanish with no explanation. But years later, I remembered that moment and thought about it. And then I remembered that I had actually seen that kid before in real life, once or twice at school. I can remember him laughing at a joke one of us made. I never learned his name or anything, though. What concerns me and makes me question things is why I never recall seeing him other than that one time, and why would I mention that experience to my mother a few years ago? She was unaware it ever happened. And she asked me why I never told her. Fair question, I suppose. But also, that if I had mentioned it, we would have left the area, which she never explained why. So creepy. I think there's something special about the horror of seeing children ghosts. I don't know what it is. Like, in theory, children ghosts should not be that scary because they're kids. But there's just something extra creepy about little kid ghosts. That last story, by the way, was from Whiskers. And this one is also from Whiskers. These are a number of smaller experiences that have happened over the years. Finding a 3-pronged faint scratch mark on the back of my neck. I often see shapes and figures in the corner of my vision, but they're never there when I turn to look at them. Hearing my name every so often, but it really sounds like someone else said it. I once had a dream of a house that was on fire, burned from the inside out. And a few days later, a house that someone I knew lived in burnt down in the same way I saw in my dream. Thankfully, they weren't hurt in it. A straw star decoration that we had on a nearby table suddenly flipped off in the direction of someone I lived with. But there wasn't a breeze or anything else to compel it. Sometimes during the winter, or even non-winter months, I swear I can hear crunching footsteps near my room coming from outside. They've lessened a lot since I was younger, but they were almost nightly when I was little. That's all for now. I can relate to some of that, actually. So this is Horse's ghost story. I was setting up our antique battery charger from the 1960s around 5 p.m. and I had no idea it was going to storm. I check on it from time to time. One of the last times I checked on it, I flipped on the light, and there's an outline of a person that looks up at it with his hand on the battery charger and disappears from the feet up. I turn the lights back off and go do something else for a little while. I haven't seen it since. Spooky garage ghost, it's like phasmophobia.